So you're a leader, right? And everyone expects you to know what to do with AI. But how are you supposed to direct something that just feels like, well, a black box? We're constantly told that AI is reshaping every single industry, but how it actually works often feels like a total mystery. Well, today we're going to change that. We're going to pop the hood and see what's really powering this thing. And that really is the central question, isn't it? Because once you understand the core components of AI, you stop being a passenger just along for the ride. You actually get into the driver's seat. The mystery just dissolves. And what you're left with is this incredibly powerful tool that you can finally evaluate, direct, and govern with confidence. This quote right here, this is basically the master key to understanding all of this. So forget all the sci-fi stuff, the sentient robots and the magical thinking. At its absolute core, AI is just a tool. It's built on two simple things, math and data. That's it. Once you really get that, the whole technology becomes so much more approachable. Look, it's not about you becoming a coder or a data scientist. It's about being a leader who knows the right questions to ask. So if it's not magic, what is it? Well, it turns out that every single AI system, from the simplest little chatbot to a super complex medical diagnostic tool, is built from just three core ingredients. So let's break them down. Okay, so these are the three pillars. You've got data, algorithms, and compute. Let's stick with our car analogy here. Think of data as the fuel. The algorithms, that's the logic. It's the steering wheel, the GPS, the rules of the road. And compute, that's the engine itself, the raw horsepower that makes it all go. Let's take a quick look at each one. All right, first up is data. This is the fuel. This is all the raw information, right? It's the collective experience that an AI learns from. Imagine a brain with absolutely no memories, no senses, nothing. That's what an AI is without data. It literally can't do anything because it doesn't know anything. This is the absolute foundation. No data, no AI. Simple as that. Second, we have algorithms. This is the logic. And hey, you don't need to understand the super complex math behind them. But what you do need to know is that algorithms are basically the recipes that tell the AI how to process all that data. So are you trying to predict which customers might leave or maybe spot defects on a production line? Just like you wouldn't use a recipe for a cake to try and bake bread, picking the right algorithm for your specific business problem is absolutely critical. And pillar number 3, compute. This is the raw engine power. Look, processing these massive data sets to train an AI takes an incredible amount of horsepower. Just a decade ago, really only a few tech giants could even afford to do this. But the rise of cloud computing, well, that's been a total game changer. It has completely democratized access, putting all this power within reach for pretty much any organization, no matter the size. Okay, now of those 3 pillars, data, algorithms, compute, there is one that you as a leader have to scrutinize more than any other, and that is the data. Why? Because the quality of your fuel determines the performance of the entire engine. It's that simple. If you get this part wrong, nothing else matters. Seriously, everything starts right here. So how do you even evaluate the quality of your data? Well, a really great framework for this is called the 5 V's. First, you've got volume, and that's just what it sounds like. How much data do you have? Then there's variety. Is your data diverse enough, or does it have a bunch of blind spots? Velocity is all about timeliness. Is the data recent enough to actually be relevant right now? Veracity is a big one. Is the data accurate? Is it clean? And finally, value. Does this data actually help solve the problem you're trying to tackle? These are the 5 questions your teams need to have solid answers for. And this all leads us to the single most important rule of AI. And you've probably heard it before. Garbage in, garbage out. If the data you're feeding the system is skewed, if it's incomplete, or if it reflects historical biases, the AI won't just learn those biases, it will amplify them. An AI is not some neutral observer. It's just a mathematical mirror, reflecting back exactly what it was shown in its training data. And listen, this isn't just some tech problem for the IT department to figure out. It is a leadership problem. A biased AI system can expose your organization to some very real consequences. We're talking about legal liability from creating discriminatory outcomes. We're talking about reputational harm that can destroy customer trust literally overnight. And yeah, direct professional risk for the people who are supposed to be accountable. So once you understand these pillars, your role fundamentally shifts. You're no longer just a passive observer of this technology. You are now equipped to be a director. You have the right framework to guide its implementation both effectively and safely. And it's so important to remember, the goal here isn't replacement, it's augmentation. It's about using the incredible speed and scale of AI to amplify our own human capabilities. Let the AI crunch the numbers and find the patterns. But the wisdom, the ethical judgment, the context, and ultimately the accountability, that has to stay with us. That's the human part. So this entire thing really comes down to one single incredibly powerful question. Whether you're buying a new piece of software or building a system from scratch, this is the very first thing you have to ask. What data was this trained on, and is that data truly representative of my context? If a vendor can't give you a clear, confident answer to that question, well, that's your answer right there. This question is your key. It unlocks any AI block box and lets you truly lead.